So I hope you enjoyed 30 minutes of having some very detailed conversations. We're actually going to abbreviate our report out so that we can stay true to our time period. We want to hopefully have you all wrapped up in the next 9 minutes. So I'm going to pick on maybe 2 people to offer a group report out. We'll hear those. I know there's not enough time. I wish we had more time, but here's what we can do. We can use our chat box. So if you were a note taker, right? We talked about some action items, the action item that your group is willing to take. If you could start to type that into your chat box, right? I'm going to pick on 2 random people to walk us through 60 seconds of what you discussed. Let's see. Lionel Downer, hi, how are you? Can you give us 60 seconds of what you discussed? Uh-oh, I think you might be on mute. I know it's not enough time. I think Lionel's still on mute. So here's what we
Okay, yes. Hi, good evening, everyone. So our group took one of our takeaways, the word that resonated with the majority of the group was racism. And we, in the discussion regarding the relevance of anti-racism, in St. Croix, St. Thomas, and St. John, we discussed that it is very relevant, particularly when you see incidents of people feeling emboldened to, display the Confederate flag, people feeling emboldened to, not call out people, having going access to their beaches. We've seen those videos, those moments posted, on social media. There's just a couple of takeaways there. How does this translate into an actionable item? We discuss putting together some sort of media campaign, a packet of information to present to your policymakers, to present to organizations like Lime Tree or what have you, in and around cultural sensitivity. I'm going to ask anyone else for our group want to tag in. I can tag them in. I know we had Tralis taking some great notes. So.
Okay. We're seeing a lot of great feedback in the chat box. Tralis, anything else to add before I'm going to hop to Saida next. So 60 seconds. I think you might be on mute. Yeah, I might be on mute, Tralis. Who can get to the mute button first? Let's see, I think we'll still work on that. Saida, are you ready to give us about maybe 30 seconds of an overview? And then we'll come back to you. Saida, I saw some comments for you in the chat box. There she is. Is she on mute too?
There she is. Nope. Tralis is unmuted, as is Saida.
Okay, great.
Okay, perfect.
I think I was prevented from unmuting, but we had a great group, 5 women of color and 1 white gentleman. And it was a great time talking with them about the fact that the behaviors that what one of the women defined as the colonizers might do when they don't know a community. And then someone said silence is complicit. So when you start seeing those behaviors, it's necessary to be an interrupter and say that you don't like what was being said and why. That was one of the main takeaways that people felt that they could do going forward. Learning about the other person, because, one of the colleagues in the breakout room said racism can wear you out, Jack. And she just felt like you definitely have to either get worn out, or the other option is to add more grace, more intention, and more focus to your individual interactions.
Incredible. Thank you, Saida. Tralis, do you have maybe a couple seconds to give us an overview of what you covered in your group?
Sure, I forget the number of our group, but the item that we identified with most was internalized racism. And some good discussion leading to actionable item, just trying to find a way to reach young people and let them know their value and their opportunity to make a difference in the world. And there was discussion about preparing young people that are going to the States for what they might find when they get there, something different from their home. And one of our group actually commended one of our other group members as a school teacher for having prepared her for her move to the States. So there was a lot of discussion, kind of both sides of what's required to make that happen. But that's about it.
So
Anybody else in our
a
group
new-
want to chime
brand
in
new
of something
person
I've missed?
doesn't have, sexual assault, domestic violence experience in is my issue. And we don't have a lot of interest, but we do have some, and we've got, it's difficult to, I've only been here 2 weeks, and yeah. So I'm kind of reaching out to everybody and saying, you know, trying to get a sense of the scope and what the day-to-day. So 8 to 10 hours a week.
Sheila, I think that might be a different conversation. But guys, thank you so much for summarizing everything that you offered. And if Sheila was directing a question, we'll make sure to follow up with her. We definitely need you to take advantage of the chat box, because what we intend to do is save it so that we have notes from this session to help inform our next sessions. So I need everybody to let me know, how did today's session go? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs out, thumbs up. I see mostly thumbs up, thumbs up. So tonight we reserved an hour and a half. Next time, should we have an hour and a half or 2 hours? 2, 1, I see twos. Okay, so if we do that, you know, don't slap me on the wrist. I do want to turn it on over to Lisa, who's going to move through the titles of our next 3 sessions. Then I'm going to pivot to Deanna, who's going to help give us some thanks. And then we're going to up. So Lisa, let's see, is Lisa on? If not, I'll go ahead and give an overview. We hope that you will be able to join us for sessions 2, 3, and 4. You can see the titles listed here. I won't go through them. What we can do is make it online, and you'll be able to register online. As Clemma offered at the very beginning, we want to offer a certificate of completion for every individual who's able to participate in the 4. If you can't make it that night, no worries. These sessions will be recorded. And so for those who are able to complete all 4, we certainly welcome you to receive your certificate of completion. I see our good friend Deanna James, who's on. We're going to pivot to her, who's going to help to wrap us up. Deanna, hi. I think we might need to unmute her and then she can speak. Let's see. Can we get her unmuted?
Okay, there we go. Good evening. I just want to say, first of all, thank you to everyone for participating. I want to just give a special shout out to the phenomenal facilitator, Allison, for leading this work and so much of the work that we're doing at the foundation. Really want to thank the Women's Coalition. I'm so inspired by every single member who's connected to that organization. You are a national treasure. I think of so many of the progresses we've made in the territory have been as a result of your advocacy, your courage, your audacity. So thank you so much for leading this really, really important conversation. To our contributors, I just want to say thank you for your vulnerability and for your willingness to share. This is not an easy topic to lead. And the contributions you've made, I think, are important for helping all of us sustain this conversation. That was one of the things that happened, that was discussed in our session, was around how do we sustain this? How does this become something that doesn't die off after the 4 sessions are over? And so how we hold this and we continue to create spaces. And I offered to make sure that the foundation supports this work by continuing to create safe spaces for ongoing conversations. And just, for everyone who's here today on this call, please make sure that you're engaging your friends and your family who are abroad to continue to build on this first conversation so that we can be that community that unlike Hilton Head and so many other communities that didn't start their development processes with honest discourse, that we will choose a different path for the Virgin Islands and particularly for St. Croix. So I just want to say thank you to everyone and thank you for allowing the foundation to bear witness to this incredible work.
Thank you, Deanna, for your continued leadership and commitment to community. Carolyn or Deborah, if I can ask you to put an email address into the chat box for anyone who is interested in lifting up our next conversations, our next seminars. If you'd like to be a part of it, if you'd like to volunteer, if you'd like to learn more about this incredible work, this is not a lift for the Women's Coalition alone. It is a lift for the entire community. And we need all hands on deck to make sure that this conversation isn't limited to the 82 people on the call tonight. Y'all, 82, that's huge, but not limited to just us, right? We have, the obligation to take this dialogue throughout all 3 islands and make sure this conversation is felt, understood, heard, and acted upon. So for all 82 of you tonight who spent your Friday evening with us, we appreciate it. All is well, all will be well, and all will be better. So thank you so much for dialing in. We look forward to seeing you in the next session. I think we have an email address, Deborah, did I see that? info@wcstx.org in case you'd like to be a part of our next session. Thanks so much.
Allison, can we just mention our next session will be on December 10th. And so that's our next date. So please mark that down in everybody's calendars. That is Race is a Myth, Class is Real. So please mark that down in your calendars and we'll be putting out the dates for January and February as well real shortly here.
Super, Carolyn, we appreciate everything. Clemma, thank you. Lisa, thank you. Deborah, thank you. Everyone have a great night and a wonderful weekend. We'll see you soon.
Good night.